we will continue the same topic of our history, which is period of transition. Today we will read the Industrial Revolution, impact of Industrial Revolution, Urbanization and Imperialism. Today we have to carry these topics. First, we will read the Industrial Revolution. In 17th and 18th century, merchants from the town in Europe began moving to the countryside. Merchants from the town, they started moving to countryside, supplying money to workers and artisans, including to produce for an international market. Supplying for money to workers and artisans to produce goods for international markets. With the expansion of world trade of colonies in different parts of the world, the demand for goods began growing. The demand for goods growing overall in the overall parts of the world. But most of the production was done manually. Or by hand, by these workers or merchants. Scientific inventions and discoveries made toward the end of 18th century and beginning of 19th century. The scientific inventions and discoveries made toward the end of 18th century and beginning of 19th century and high demand of goods led to challenge from manual work or by the workers, they used to make things from their hands to machines work and from domestic system of production to the factory production. The manual work changed into machine work and domestic system of production changed into factory production. The Industrial Revolution began in England in about 1750 AD. First point I have written over here, during the 1600s overseas exploration. This one, during the 1600s overseas explorations had opened new markets for England and led to wealthy economic based on money. In this time, new markets opened in England and the wealthy economic which was based on money. Next one is new financial institutions such as banks. New financial institutions such as banks offered business loans. These banks used to offer business loans that helped to motivate industrial growth. To motivate the industrial growth, banks used to offer business loans. The most famous was the powerful Bank of England 1694. The next one is England had rich natural resources in the form of coal and iron mines. I have written over here resources, coal and iron mines. This was the natural resource of England. Coal was valuable resource for energy to fuel machineries. This coal used for fuel machineries and iron was used to make machines. This iron used to make machines and productions such as tools and cookware. The next one is this one, scientific improvements. Scientific improvements in farming during the 1700s led to agricultural revolution, which became the base of industrial revolution. Agricultural revolution became the base of industrial revolution. So we will read urbanization. Urbanization is an increase in the number of people living in towns and cities. People move from rural areas to urban areas. Some points I have written over here. First one, growth of new cities and industrial towns. Expansion of trade and commerce led to expansion of old cities and the growth of new towns near the factories. Expansion of trade and commerce led to expand old cities and growth of new towns near the factories where the production was going on and the materials used to produce there. Such cities had the concentration of factories, marketing and financial institutions such as banks. The second one is growth of trade and commerce. Industrial revolution developed the rail and road transport. Rail and road transport developed by industrial revolution with the use of faster, safer and cheaper transport. National markets grew up in towns. These transport, rail and road transport was the best, cheapest and faster transports. National markets grew up in towns. The next one is general prosperity due to mass production. Due to large scale of production of quality items at cheaper rate, most of the goods came within the reach of the people. The production was large, and items at cheaper rate. So this was the reason that most of the people, they used to buy things easily. The next one is slum, overcrowding and poor housing condition. Usually the factories were situated near the coalfields or seaport. The factories were situated near the coalfields or seaports. Not much attention was paid toward providing suitable houses for the industrial workers. No much attention was paid towards these areas or for the houses of industrial workers, those who used to stay there. So the workers in the towns lived in overcrowded. They used to live in overcrowded areas without proper sanitation and drainage. There was no any sanitization facilities for the sanitization, and drainage system also was not there. Their condition was very poor, those who used to live near the factories. The next one is exploitation of the workers. The workers had to work hard for long hours under harsh conditions. The workers, they used to work for long time in very bad or in very critical conditions. Their wages were badly inadequate. Even the females and children were engaged. The females and children, they were also engaged in those factories at low wages. Female and children, they also used to work hard in those factories, but they used to get very less money. Our next topic is imperialism. In this, strong government or country occupy the other or weaker countries for their resources and to become more and more stronger. Industrial revolution gave rise to capitalism as a system of economy. I have written the first point over here. Industrial revolution gave rise to capitalism. Big industries producing goods at a mass scale and at cheaper rates converted to workers into wage earners, while the factory owner made huge profits and get or collect wealth. Industrial revolution, in this, big industries used to produce more and more goods at mass scale or in huge amount, and the workers, they used to get wages, those who used to work in these factories, and the factory owners, they used to get lots of money and profit and used to collect wealth also. Another impact of industrial revolution and capitalism was the rise of imperialism. I have written the second point over here. As the demand for raw material increased to enable the factories to run, the search of new colonies resulted in the growth of competitive imperialism. It means the demand for raw material increased. That's why the other factories or the nations, they were searching for new areas or new colonies to produce the goods, more goods. Imperialism means a system in which rich and powerful countries controlled and even occupied other nations to exploit their resources for their own economic and industrial benefits. Third point I have written over here. Some capitals or countries, they occupied other nations for their own benefit. In this system, they occupied the other nations to exploit their resources, to capture their resources also for their own economic benefit or industrial benefit. This capitalist or rich countries also, they search for new markets for the sale of their production. These countries or these rich countries, they search for market to sell their products also. They do not only capture the markets in a country but the country itself. They used to capture the markets and the nations or the country also. From 1870 AD to 1940 AD, almost all the countries of Asia and Africa had come under the control of one and the powerful nation. Overall, in 1870 to 1914 AD, overall the countries of Asia and Africa had come under or control under of one or the powerful nation. Next one is imperialism in South Asian countries. Southeast Asia commands or control the sea lanes, means narrow pass between India and China. From 1500s through the 1700s, European merchants gained footholds. Footholds means place to stand on in Southeast Asia, but most of the areas remain overall independent. The Dutch, I have written the Dutch, British and French, they used modern armies and technology to colonize much of Southeast Asia. They used these Dutch, British and French, they used modern armies and technology also. Colonization of the region brought mixed results. Economies grew based on cash crops or goods. Economies grew based on cash crops or goods that could be sold in the world market. These goods could be sold in the world market. Anyway, roads, harbor and rail system. Roads, harbors and rail systems improved communication and transportation, but mostly benefit Europe business. These rail system and roads improved the communication and transportation also and European business. However, education, health and sanitation also improved. Unlike other colonial areas, millions of people from other areas of Asia, and the world migrated to work. They used to migrate to work on plantations and in the mines of Southeast Asia. Most of the people, they used to migrate to get work in mines of Southeast Asia. So this was your today's topic. Go through it. Thank you.